Welcome everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to those of you who are new since over the New Year's. Got a few new followers since then. I have been working quite hard on my Motor Maid's outfit, which is for the Foundations Revealed 2021 competition entry, where you have to make a garment or a costume based on a character from a book. I am making a costume based off the character of Billie from the Motor Maids, which is a book series from 1911 to 1914, and I am making a 19-teens motoring outfit. I'm just doing a 19-teens in general motoring outfit versus a specific year. I made a video where I announced the project and talked all about my plans for it, but I just wanted to come in and give you a more in-depth look of each set of garments. So I was going to make some sewing videos on how to sew some of these different pieces, but those are actually a lot of work to edit, and I have been putting so much time into sewing that I haven't had any time to do that. So I'm going to have a video. This video is going to be about the 19-teens undergarments. Then I'm going to have one that's about sort of the base garments like the blouse and the skirt, and then I'm also going to do a video on the outerwear and the things I have made for that. This section, the undergarments section, has the most amount of pieces, and they're not going to be seen, so you'll see them now. For some of my research for this project, I've been looking at the book The Woman in the Car, a chatty little guidebook to motoring for women by Dorothy Levitt. It's from 1909. This is a 70s reprint of it. I tried to keep that in mind when picking out what undergarments I was going to wear, because I'm sure Billie would stay very true to that. For the base layer, I wanted to make a pair of combinations. I wasn't able to find a pattern for combinations that appealed to me, so I took Folkwear 203 and made some adjustments to the pattern to combine the drawers and the, what do they call it? Camisole. So that wasn't too hard to do. So it turned out pretty alright. It wasn't too hard to adjust it. Instead of doing the waistband, I took the waistband from the drawers, and I had to alter it so that it was front closing instead of side closing. And then I didn't sew up the legs. I left those open so that they're split drawers so that you can still go to the bathroom. And then I attached the camisole to the top. It wasn't that hard. It's totally doable. I have a couple of little adjustments I need to make on them still, but I'm pretty pleased with them. They're pretty comfortable. I have a simple pair of gray stockings that are over the knee. I got them from a company called Samson Historical. They're pretty good. They get stretched out after wearing them for a little while though, so they definitely need washed often. But I've washed them like 3 times now, and they're holding up pretty well in the washing machine. The next garment that I put on is my brassiere. I used a pattern for this from Wearing History, circa 1913 brassiere pattern. Corsets in this time were quite low, somewhat under bust. So if you want a little more bust support, this can be useful. I made a mock-up of this a while ago. It was quite uncomfortable. It was not going well. So I put it aside until yesterday, when I decided to try work on this again. This pattern is rated advanced difficulty because it doesn't really have modern instructions in it. It has the original instructions and then a few Wearing History notes. However, it is only 3 pieces, so really, it's very simple. There are just 2 seams that go together and then a strap. Oh, it's only in one size. That's probably why it's advanced difficult, because you're going to have to grade it to fit you. However, it came in my size, so that was perfect for me. If you're not a size 38-inch bust, then this pattern will be a lot more difficult for you. If it is a similar size to what you are, or you're comfortable with pattern grading, then this pattern is not that hard. There's a couple different variations you can do. You could do a pleated front one or just a straight front one. I went with the pleated front one, and you can optionally put in bones or not. The thing that I found challenging about this pattern, and why it was very difficult for me in the mock-up, is I assumed that the writing on the pattern piece oriented the pattern piece like you would. So when you're reading up like this, I assumed that the pattern piece went up like this. However, I was wearing the mock-up and I was like, it's just so tight up here and like loose down here. This is not comfortable. And then I tried on the strap and I was like, this strap is inches too short. I could see it being like a couple inches too short, based on like a smaller person wearing this originally. But then when you match up with the notches, that notch goes with the strap notch. I was like, there's no way that the strap covers the entire cup and then goes across the back and then goes all the way down to the bottom of the back. So I realized that the pattern pieces actually go this way on the body. And then when I tried that on, it was way more comfortable and it actually fit. So if you ever do this pattern, keep that in mind. The pattern pieces actually go upside down. I made it out of a linen. The straps say to have them out of ribbon. I got some of this Petersham ribbon when I was getting the waistband for my skirt, and I just got it in the same color. I wanted a ribbon that would be washable, and all the other ribbons that I have are not washable. So I got that. I put some synthetic whalebone boning in here. Should be washable. I took a couple darts out the back just to make it fit a bit better. And then I put hook and eyes in the front, and I put the hooks and eyes on the pleats to help reinforce it, so I had a few more layers of fabric to go through instead of just the one layer of linen. This is actually quite comfortable. It fits pretty well. I feel like it does add a little bit extra stability and bust support. I debated if I actually needed it or not when I was having trouble with the mock-up, but I think it works well. I didn't add any lace or decorations, embroidery, or anything like that like the pattern suggests because I don't want them itching me when I'm on the road. So that's that. Really easy to sew pattern to sew up once you figure out which way the pattern pieces go and if it fits you straight out the gate. Very comfortable and easy. Next up is the corset. So I haven't made a corset in this style before. It's sort of low underbust. I made it straight out the pattern. It does need adjustments, but since I was making so many pieces for this costume, I let this not fit that great. It does provide the silhouette, it does all that. It just isn't beautiful. However, it's going to be covered up, so I think it's okay. It's going to be something that I come back to and make more iterations of in the future. For the pattern, I used a pattern that I got from the Foundations Revealed website. It's a members only article, but the woman who wrote it also posted it on her blog. So I will link to that below. Of course, I'll link to everything. She made it from original corset that she had. She copied it and made pattern pieces for it, and she does have it in multiple sizes. My size was very similar to the original size. Unclear how to do the suspender straps part, so I just kind of made something up. Got these like little suspender slider buckle things, and then I have the suspenders clips, and I just attached them to where it looked good on the corset. I think it'll work. They do slide down a little bit while I'm wearing it, but I just put them on like 2 days ago, so we'll see how it goes as I wear it more. But it is kind of nice to have these to hold up these stockings, since the stockings do slide down after a while. Over the corset next is going my corset cover. I did put a little lace in this corset cover because I feel like by now I have put on enough layers that the lace isn't directly against my skin and is going to be itching me. I did not go wild with the lace. I kept it very minimal. For this pattern, I used Folkwear 203 again, and I used the camisole pattern for it. I widened the straps a little bit. I feel like it kind of like has a little gapiness that I should probably put a ribbon and a casing through and like tie it up on the front, but we'll get there maybe. I also need another ribbon to tie through the waist casing to help cinch it down a little bit, but I don't have any that fits that. So I'm looking for some ribbons for that function. However, they stopped selling ribbon at the pharmacy and I haven't left the island in months, so I have to get it online. The final piece for these undergarments, is this the final piece already? Yeah. The final piece for the undergarment is also from Folkwear 203, where I made the petticoat. So in the Motor Maid's school days, Billie is described as wearing a short red silk petticoat. So I made a red silk petticoat from hell. I've been dreaming of making a silk taffeta petticoat for ages. I accidentally bought silk tissue taffeta instead of silk taffeta. Silk tissue taffeta is the worst. This is my first experience working with silk, so I was pretty excited about it, but this was just so fray and so staticky that it was awful. When I was working on this, I was finding little fluffs of frayed off silk everywhere, all over the house, in my food. Like, I have a separate building that my sewing studio is in from my house, and it was just getting everywhere. Since I've been holding this again, it's like getting everywhere again. Unfortunately, I made the waistband like a little bit too small. I made the waist too small somehow, so I hate this petticoat. It's pretty, but it's a pain, and I could not take it apart and redo it. So this petticoat was a real pain to make. The pattern was a good pattern. I had to add quite a bit of length of this. This pattern is made for someone who's 5'5", I think, or is it 5'6" or 4? Probably 5'6", but I am not 5'6", I am 6 foot. So I had to add a decent bit of extra material to this. I also sewed the flounce on in the stupidest way, so it was a challenge. But I did also make it out of this duvet cover that my sister gave me from IKEA as a mock-up. That's a wearable mock-up, so I now have it in a cotton as well, and it is quite good. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these pieces. If you're looking for just 19 teens undergarment ideas, here are some ideas with some patterns of where you can find them. So I'll be back with the video on the main pieces, the skirt and the blouse, the outer garments, including the duster, the gaiters, the cap, and a video on the accessories. So stick around, let me know what you're up to. So bye bye.